Chassidic gems on Parshat Behhaaloscha. It says in the Pasuk that Moshe Rabbeinu by instructions from Hashem, Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe Leimer, Daber el Aaron, V'yomarto elov Behhaaloscha es haneros. Hashem told Moshe to tell Aaron that when he lights the menorah, it should be in a specific manner. So the pasuk continues, Vayas Cain Aaron. Aaron did so. Kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe. As Hashem commanded Moshe, that's what Aaron did. And Rashi brings down Chazal, Lahagid shivchei shel Aaron sheloi shina. He just tells the praise of Aaron that he didn't change. He did it as Hashem, kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe. And the question is, what does it mean that Aaron did as Hashem commanded Moshe? Why doesn't it say that Aaron did like Moshe commanded Aaron? Instead of saying he did as Hashem commanded Moshe, it should have said he did as Moshe commanded him. That's simple. The Chassidic Torah say, you know why it says Kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe, as Moshe commanded him, even though Aaron heard it from Moshe, but his level of doing it was on the same level. He was on the same level, Aaron, on such a high level that it was on the same level that Hashem, when Hashem commanded Moshe. Aaron was a big tzaddik, and when he heard it from Moshe, he was able to do it. He was able to specifically get it exactly as the way that Hashem commanded Moshe. Continuing on the same pasuk, the pasuk says, Vayas Cain Aaron. Aaron did so. And Chazal, brought down in Rashi, say that Shaloi Melamed Shivchai L'Hagid Shivchai Shel Aaron is coming to tell the praise of Aaron, that he didn't change. He did what he was supposed to do. He did it so well. He did it the way Hashem commanded Moshe. But he did it very well. And the Torah is praising him. Vayas Cain Aaron. Aaron did so. And he didn't change. And the question is, Aaron was such a tzaddik. He did it on the highest level. Why is the Torah saying praise about Aaron, that Aaron lo shina? Of course lo shina. Of course he didn't change, because he was a tzaddik and he did what he was supposed to do. What kind of a praise is this, that he didn't change? What kind of a praise is this? So the Chassidic Torah go to town here, and they tell us different meaning in Aaron's Shaloshina, the Haggad Shivchei Shel Aaron Shaloshina. And they learn that the Chassidic Torah learn that Aaron did new things when he lit the menorah. He did new things that probably were included in what Hashem said, even though this is not the simple. Harav HaKodesh Rav Menachem Mendel Milinsk says that there may be another translation for Shina. For instance, it says by the Megillah, Chayev Adam to read the Megillah at night, V'lishnoisa bayom. And here, the translation of Lishnoisa would mean repeat. Everybody has to read the Megillah at night and repeat it during the daytime. So here, the translation according to the Chassidic Torah would be to repeat it. Meaning, Shaloi Shina, he didn't repeat it. Every time when you do something, the first time you do it, it's mamish, you're afraid, you're doing the will of Hashem, it's a pachat. But Aaron, he never repeated it. It was always like the first time. The first time you do something, it's be'ema v'yira. You want to make sure you do it right. But here, the Haggad Shivchei Shel Aaron Shel Shina, he never repeated it. Every time he did it, every time he did the mitzvah, it was like doing it the first time. With such ema of yira, that's the way a person has to do mitzvahs. Shaloi Shina, he didn't repeat it. It was always the first time, and it was the first time is always more ema v'yira than the times after. So this would be a new. So the question was, why Shaloi Shina? He didn't change. Of course, he didn't change. That was he was a tzaddik. He was such a tzaddik that Hashem, he did it on the level that Hashem told Moshe. Nevertheless, the Chassidim find a translation of Shina means that he didn't repeat it. It was always the first time. Second time you always do it with less intensity. But the first time you do it really with ema v'yira. And every time he did a mitzvah, every time he did this mitzvah, it was be'ema v'yira. Every single time. It was like the first time. Okay, that's one way how to understand how to understand this Chazal, this Rashi. Harav HaKodesh Rabbi Yitzchak Mivorka says another way how to possibly understand this Rashi, this Chazal. Sometimes when a person does a mitzvah, he shows it externally, which is not good. You do a mitzvah, it's between you and Hashem. Some people can't control it. They do a mitzvah. Some even make with their hands when they do a mitzvah, By Aaron HaKohen Shaloshina, it was totally internally. Because you couldn't recognize any shinui, any change during the doing of the mitzvah. We see it sometimes today even. You have a big Rav or somebody can't control himself, and he can't control himself, and externally people see, and that's not good because he may be doing it for people to see. He did it internally between him and Hashem. He was able to fully control himself, that with all the bubbliness and with all the with him bubbling within himself to do the mitzvah the best possible way, there was no recognition of any shinui, of any change, of any hispilus during the doing of the mitzvah. He didn't change. Okay, I could hear that. Then there's another interpretation of the same Rashi, the same Chazal. Shaloshina, v'hagit shivchei shel Aaron, Shaloshina, to tell the praise of Aaron that he didn't change, he did it all internally. There's another interpretation that means even after he did the mitzvah, he did a mitzvah that Hashem wanted him to do, he could have become a balgaiva a little bit. But there was no change in him. No change in him. He could have become, wow, I just did something that Hashem wanted me to do. There was no gaiva. He remained the same onav, the same humble person that he always was. Anyway, we started this segment by saying that the Torah is telling us the praise of Aaron, that he didn't change. We learn change to simply mean he did what he was supposed to do. But according to the Chassidic Torah, there's reason to say that there's a new point where we see greatness. The point is that he never repeated it. He never repeated it because every time he did a mitzvah was like the first time. It was never a repetition. Repetitions are not as equal, not as great as doing it the first time. That was one interpretation. The other interpretation was he's doing it without any visibility of seeing him perform a mitzvah. It was all internal. It was all internal. Because when you do things where other people see, it could be dangerous. You're doing it for other people to see. And the third segment in this part was that he could have been a Valgaiva. Wow, I just was privileged to do what Hashem wanted me to do. And he could have become a Valgaiva a little bit. And he did it without changing. He was the same Onav before he did the mitzvah, and the same Onav after he did the mitzvah. Okay, we just want to continue with another one or two different points. The Torah talks about ki yiyeh tomei, about bringing the Korban Pesach. You got to bring the Korban Pesach. Comes the Zman, and the Torah says if a person's tomei lo nefesh, he became tomei to a corpse, oy b'derech rchaika, or he's too far from the Mishkan, from the Beis Hamikdash. Lochem. Ki yiyeh tomei lo nefesh, oy b'derech rchaika lochem. The Chassidic Torah, that's the simple. The Chassidic Torah are answering, how did a person become Tomei Lo Nefesh when he's supposed to bring soon the Korban Pesach? How did he become Tomei for a corpse? What caused him? Or how was he in a distant place where he couldn't bring the Korban Pesach? What caused that? And the Chassidic Torah, who know everything, say that a person can become Tomei to a corpse, and he could be too distant from being able to bring the Korban Pesach. And you know what brought all this about? Lochem. Because he was a person that was only worried about himself. He didn't care to help others. So we have a new thought on how a person can become Tomei or b'derech rchaika. How? Because he's only interested in himself. That's the way it works. Okay, one more. That's a person who became Tomei Lo Nefesh or b'derech rchaika. But what about somebody asher hu to'er? Somebody is clean, he didn't become Tomei Lo Nefesh. U'v'derech lo hoya, he was he was not too far. He really should be able to bring the Korban Pesach. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah are saying this is the Muhammad Ali Pshat. Asher hu toher, he thinks he's the biggest. He is clean. He was Zoche to Tara. That person does not know what Yiddishkeit is all about. Anybody who who thinks like the Muhammad Ali, he's the greatest, it's a sign that b'derech lo hoya. He did not reach the right way in serving Hashem. We have to be anovim, not balei kaiva, and then we can be zeicha to serve Hashem properly. The Eibishter should help us. We should be zeicha to all these beautiful hashkafas haTorah. We should be able to keep them and fulfill them. Amen v'amen.